I've got 7 strategies that will help you grow your Fiverr account fast, meaning no more sitting around and waiting for that first order. Now, first of all, it's important to understand that Fiverr isn't just a gig platform. It's probably one of the most powerful business tools that you can use today that will actually allow you to start earning a consistent income if you use it the right way. And that's all possible without you needing to invest a single penny to start. In fact, I went from earning just over $1,000 in my first month on the platform to earning 50K in my first year. And that was all thanks to the strategies that I'm going to share in this video. But if you're serious about achieving similar results and want to fast track it as much as possible, then you can join my 2-week Accelerator program where you'll work one-on-one with me in order to take your freelance career to the next level. Links in the description. Now, we've got to start with one of the biggest mistakes that I see freelancers make on Fiverr every single day, and that's trying to be everything to everyone. You offer logo design, video editing, voiceovers, social media posts, you name it. The problem is, generalists don't stand out. Buyers are looking for experts, and most of the time, the only reason that you're taking this approach is because you're not confident enough in the one main service you offer, or you're just trying to chase where the money and the demand is. But in reality, the key is to pick a specific profitable niche and create an offer that solves a clear problem for a specific audience. So let's just say you're a video editor. It's okay to now expand your services as long as they still fall within video editing. Therefore, you could have podcast editing, social media ad editing, TikTok reels, etc. Meaning, you don't change your service, but instead you expand your offering to reach a bigger audience who need your editing skills. And that small shift tells your buyer that you understand their needs as you have a specific gig for it. And trust me, that will make all the difference. Now, to find a good niche, you need to ask yourself a few things. 1, who needs what I do? 2, what type of content or results are they looking for? And 3, what keywords are buyers already searching? And once you have all of this, you can use Fiverr's search bar and autofill suggestions to find in-demand micro niches. As you might already know, Fiverr works a lot like a search engine. The platform connects buyer queries to seller gigs based on keywords, and if your gig isn't optimized with the right keywords, well, to be honest, you're invisible. So start by using Fiverr's search bar. Type in the service that you offer and look at the autocomplete suggestions, as I just mentioned a moment ago. Now, these are real buyer search terms. For example, if you typed in logo design, Fiverr will then bold out other keywords which are being searched with that keyword. Now, once you pick the appropriate keywords that are most relevant to your offer, make sure they appear in 3 places. And that's your gig title, but, and this is a big but, your title still needs to make sense when read. So it can't just be a bundle of highly searched keywords, which I've actually seen a lot of sellers doing recently. The second is your tags. Make sure you use all 5 of them. And lastly, but this is not actually so important, is your gig description. You want to add them in naturally, especially in the first 1 to 2 sentences. And just so you know what I mean, here's a bad example of using keywords in a gig description. Remember, the description is to help the buyer understand what you offer, not to bombard them with some pointless SEO tactic that's not of any benefit to your gig whatsoever. And just to give you an idea of the correct style of gig title, here's a bad example. I will do video editing. Now, compare that with I will edit viral TikTok and Instagram videos for influencers. It's specific, rich in keywords, and shows that you should be an expert if you're promising virality. Oh, and just a quick bonus tip. Once your gig is live, go to Fiverr Analytics and see which search terms you're being found under. Now, this will help you position yourself even more. All right, for all those freelancers watching right now that have gig images or thumbnails that look like this, understand that This is the first impression, and in Fiverr's crowded marketplace, first impressions matter more than ever. At least 70% of your time and effort should be going into creating your thumbnail. So think of it like a billboard. It has to grab attention, communicate value instantly, while also looking professional. Now, the essentials to keep in mind for a high converting thumbnail is bold, readable text, highlighting your main service, like TikTok edits or luxury logo, not every single feature of your gig. Next is a clean design. Use space and color contrast to make the important parts pop out. And faces. As a freelancer, seeing who you are will actually help to increase trust. So if you are the face of the brand, show it. Now, if you're not really any good at designing, I would always recommend hiring somebody to do it for you. Normally, you can honestly find thumbnail designers for like $15 to $20 on Fiverr that will create a pretty decent design for you. Because remember, before anyone reads your gig, they'll see your thumbnail. Now, Fiverr gives you the option to offer free packages, which are normally your basic, standard, and premium. And most new sellers fill these out randomly without any strategy, as they don't really take the time to really think things through and how they're going to offer these different tiers. So structure is important here because you can provide 3 different packages at all different price points. But these packages do act as a huge opportunity to increase your average order value. Now, the key here is purely to structure your packages like a value ladder. Each tier should clearly offer more value than the last, and it's completely up to you how you create these. But a lot of thought should go into the offering and the pricing. And by having these different tiers, it will make upselling much easier. Plus, it will always give you a starting price point when giving custom offers. It also allows you to work with different buyer types. So for example, you could have your budget buyers, which will go for the basic option, and then your more serious buyers who value your time and results, well, they'll go with the premium option. Now, people don't just want cheap, they want options. So make sure you give them a reason to upgrade. All right, not every gig needs to be high ticket, and some new Fiverr sellers expect a little too much at the start of their journey. In fact, having one entry-level gig that's easy to say yes to can be the fastest way to build momentum and get orders coming in. Think of it like a lead magnet, a low-cost, low-effort gig that gets someone into your ecosystem. Now, when I first started Fiverr, my hook point was that my gigs started at $5. And not until the buyer actually clicked onto the gig did they then realize that for $5, they actually got the bare minimum, which inevitably meant that they would need to spend more than just $5 to get what they wanted. But that $5 price point was used purely as bait to get them to click onto my gig. After which I knew from the way that my gigs were structured, I had a high chance of then converting them. Now, of course, I only recommend low prices if you're new and don't have many reviews. And you use this low-cost lead magnet to do one thing and one thing only: build reviews faster so that you can gain social proof and increase your prices. Because reviews are like the currency of trust on Fiverr. Without them, buyers are then hesitant to take a chance, no matter how good your gig looks. If your gig isn't actually getting views or clicks, the last thing you should do is just sit there and expect magic to happen. Fiverr gives you data for a reason. So go into your analytics dashboard weekly. Look at the impressions, the clicks, and conversions. Now, if your impressions are low, your title or tags may need keyword optimizing. If impressions are high but clicks are low, it's your thumbnail or pricing, which is probably going to be off. If people are clicking but not buying, then it's your description or reviews. These are probably going to need some work. Just make small tweaks one at a time and monitor the results. Now, don't change everything at once. Instead, treat your gig like a landing page that you're constantly optimizing. Fiverr is definitely not a set and forget situation. The best sellers are always improving their gigs and optimizing for better conversion. The good news is you don't just have to wait for people to find your gig anymore. Instead, you have the option to reach out to buyers too. Now, Fiverr offers features like the Briefs tab that lets you proactively pitch services to people actively looking. And checking the Briefs tab daily is a must. And once you find a brief worth applying to, make sure that you put some real effort into your proposal. Even if the briefs available don't really match your criteria, send them a message anyway, as this will show Fiverr that you are being proactive. Now, when applying to a brief, generally creating and using some kind of template will help a lot, but always customize the intro line so that it doesn't just seem like a typical copy and pasted response. Now, here's a great example that you can use if you want. Hey, I'm Chris. I saw you're looking for help with, enter the specific need. I've done similar work for X and would love to help you get Y result. Here's a sample of my work, and then drop the link. Now, this approach can get you early clients without relying on Fiverr ranking you first. And pro tip here, respond quickly. Now, these opportunities disappear fast, so you need to be treating them like warm sales leads and close them before someone else does. And there you have it, 7 powerful ways to grow your Fiverr account fast. Now, these are the exact things that you should be implementing every single day. And whether you're just starting or trying to break into becoming a top seller, these tips actually work because they're based on real experience, real data, and a real strategy that's helped me scale to 25K plus per month now. And as I said at the start, if you're serious about taking your freelance journey to the next level, then check out the link in the description for my 2-week Freelance Accelerator course aimed to do exactly that. Otherwise, go watch this video explaining how just one of my gigs made me more than $18,000.